This video contains 5 unsolved mysteries. Most people won't make it to the last one, not because it's long, but because these stories will mess with your head. In 1959, 9 experienced hikers fled their tent in minus 30-degree weather, tearing through it from the inside. When rescuers found them, one was missing her tongue and eyes. Some had injuries that could only come from extreme force, but no external wounds. This is the Diet Law Pass incident. That's just mystery number 1. For more coming. Let's see if you can handle all 5. Let's start with what happened that night in the Ural Mountains. Mystery number 1. The Diet Law Pass incident. The setup, February 2nd, 1959. 9 experienced hikers set out into the northern Ural Mountains in Russia. Their leader, Igor Dyatlov, was 23 and had led multiple expeditions before. The group was confident, well-equipped, prepared. When they didn't return as scheduled, search parties went out. What they found will become one of history's most disturbing mysteries. The discovery. On February 26th, rescuers found the tent. It was torn open from the inside, ripped by the hikers themselves, desperately trying to escape. Their boots were still inside. Their coats were still there. It was minus 30 degrees outside. Yet they had fled into the frozen wilderness, wearing almost nothing. The first 2 bodies were found near a tree line about a mile away, barefoot in underwear. They'd tried to climb a tree. Branches were broken 15 feet high. 3 more bodies were found between the tree and tent, including Dyatlov. They'd been trying to make it back. The last 4 weren't found until 2 months later, buried under 12 feet of snow in a ravine. The horror, Ludmila Dubinina had massive chest fractures. She was missing her tongue, eyes, and part of her lips. Semyon Zolotaryov's chest was crushed. Alexander Kolevatov's skull was fractured. The injuries were catastrophic, like a car crash, but there were no external wounds. No cuts, no bruises, no signs of attack or struggle. A medical examiner said the force required to cause these injuries was beyond what a human could inflict, yet something did this to them. The mystery. The official Soviet report concluded they died from a compelling natural force. But what force? Avalanche? The tent was intact, and their footprints showed they walked calmly away. Military testing? No evidence. Infrasound causing panic? Doesn't explain the crushing injuries. Attacked by locals or animals? No footprints except the hikers. Some bodies showed traces of radiation. The case was quickly closed. The area was sealed for 3 years. 66 years later, every theory has holes. Avalanche doesn't fit. Military involvement wasn't proven. Natural phenomena can't explain everything. 9 people fled their tent in terror and died. We have the evidence. We have the bodies. We just don't know why. But the Diet Law Pass isn't the only case where people vanished under impossible circumstances. Mystery number 2, Flight MH370, the disappearance. March 8, 2014. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 took off from Kuala Lumpur bound for Beijing. 239 people on board. At 1:19 a.m., the last communication. Good night, Malaysian 370. 2 minutes later, the plane vanished. Not crashed, vanished. A 209-foot Boeing 777, covered by radar, equipped with tracking systems, flying over monitored airspace. Gone. What happened? The transponder was manually turned off. Someone in the cockpit did this. The plane changed course, turning sharply west away from Beijing. It flew for hours across the Indian Ocean before disappearing from all systems. The largest search in aviation history followed. 26 countries, 46,000 square miles of ocean searched. They found almost nothing. 3 years later, debris washed ashore thousands of miles apart. A wing panel, a flapper, fragments confirmed from MH370. But the main wreckage, the black boxes, the 239 people, gone. The theories. Pilot suicide? Captain Zahari Shah showed no signs of distress. Hijacking? No demands, no evidence. Mechanical failure? Doesn't explain the manual transponder shutdown. Hypoxia? Someone was conscious enough to change the flight path. Every theory breaks down somewhere. The plane flew for hours after vanishing. Someone controlled it, then it went dark forever. In an age where we track smartphones globally, where satellites read license plates from space, a massive aircraft with 239 people simply disappeared. The mystery. 10 years later, we still don't know. Was it intentional? An accident that cascaded into disaster? Something we haven't considered? The ocean is vast, but not infinite. Modern technology can map the seafloor, detect wreckage, find needles in haystacks. Yet MH370 remains hidden. 239 families want answers. Investigators want closure. The world wants to know how this is possible in 2014. But the ocean keeps its secrets. And somewhere miles below the surface or scattered across the seabed lies a truth we may never find. Transition. Sometimes a mystery isn't what disappeared. It's what we found. Mystery number 3. The wow. Signal. The discovery. August 15, 1977. Dr. Jerry Emmon was reviewing data from the Big Ear Radio Telescope in Ohio, part of SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Most days, cosmic noise, random static. But on this day, something appeared on the printout. A signal so strong, so specific, so unlike anything natural that Emmon circled it and wrote. Wow! The wow. Signal. And we still can't explain it. The signal. It lasted exactly 72 seconds. A narrowband radio signal at 1420 megahertz. The frequency of hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe. Scientists theorized any intelligent civilization would use this frequency because others would know to listen. The signal was 30 times stronger than background noise. It came from Sagittarius, about 120 light years away. Then it stopped, never repeated, never happened again. This matched exactly what scientists predicted an alien transmission would look like. The search, 1040 to 1130, we've pointed telescopes back at that location hundreds of times. Nothing. We've scanned nearby stars, monitored constantly. Silence. In 1977, we detected something that could have been contact. Then it vanished. The theories, 1130 to 1215 natural explanations. Comets don't transmit narrowband signals. Earth satellites? None were positioned correctly, and the signal came from deep space. Military transmission? Denied and doesn't match. Maybe it was exactly what it looked like. A signal from an intelligent source. One that called once, never again. The mystery, the wow. Signal is the strongest evidence we have for potential extraterrestrial contact. But we can't confirm it because it never repeated. Was it intentional? A beacon? A message? An accident? Somewhere 120 light years away, something transmitted toward Earth. We heard it for 72 seconds. Then silence. 48 years later, we're still listening, still waiting, still wondering if we missed our only chance. But space isn't the only place where the impossible happens. Mystery number 4, the Solder Children. Christmas Eve, 1945. Christmas Eve, 1945. Fayetteville, West Virginia. The Solder family, George, Jenny, and their 10 children celebrated the holiday. Around 1:30 a.m., Jenny woke to smoke. The house was on fire. George and Jenny escaped with 4 children. But 5 kids were still upstairs. Maurice, 14. Martha, 12. Louis, 9. Jenny, 8. Betty, 5. George tried to get back inside. The stairs were engulfed. He ran for his ladder. Both ladders, always kept against the house, were missing. He tried to start his truck to drive under the windows. It wouldn't start. Neither would his other vehicles. By the time firefighters arrived 7 hours later, the house had burned to the ground. The 5 children were gone. The investigation. The fire chief said the children's remains were completely incinerated. But house fires don't burn hot enough to destroy bones, and the fire lasted only 45 minutes. George Solder sifted through ashes for days. He found appliances, metal objects, personal items, but no bones, no teeth, no remains. 5 children vanished. Then the Sodders hired investigators. They found disturbing details. 2 children were spotted at a hotel 50 miles away after the fire. A woman served them breakfast at a diner. The latter wasn't missing. It was hidden. The phone lines had been cut. The truck's distributor cap was removed, sabotaged. The fire chief admitted he never properly investigated. The coroner declared the children dead without examining remains because there weren't any. The theories. George Sodder had spoken against Mussolini during World War II. He'd received threats. One man told him, "Your house will go up in smoke and your children will be destroyed." Revenge? Kidnapping disguised as accident? The mafia? In 1968, the Sodders received a photograph. No return address. It showed a young man about 30. On the back, Louis Sodder, "I love Brother Frankie." Louis was one of the missing children. He'd be 32 in 1968. The photo looked like him. They hired an investigator to trace it. He went to Kentucky, where it was postmarked. Then he vanished. Never contacted the family again. Never heard from again. The mystery. Did 5 children die in a fire that left no remains? Or were they kidnapped? The fire cover-up? No bodies were ever found. Witnesses saw the children alive after. Evidence suggests deliberate sabotage. The Sodders never stopped searching. They put up a billboard with the children's photos that stayed up for decades. Jenny died in 1989 without answers. George died in 1969, convinced his children were taken. If they died, where are the remains? Fire doesn't completely destroy bone. If they were kidnapped, why? Who took them? Where did they go? And why did the investigator who traced the photo disappear? 5 children vanished on Christmas Eve. We have theories, witnesses, evidence of sabotage, but no answers. Just grieving parents who searched for decades and died never knowing what happened to their kids. One mystery left. This one might be the strangest. Mystery number 5. The lead mask case. The discovery, August 20th, 1966. Morro do Ventum, a hill near Rio de Janeiro. 2 boys flying kites discover 2 bodies lying side by side. The men wore formal suits and raincoats. But the strangest detail? Each wore a lead mask over their eyes, the type used for radiation protection. The lead mask case, never solved. The men Manuel Pereira de Cruz and Miguel Jose Viana, electronic technicians, found lying on their backs, no signs of struggle. Their clothes were neat, undisturbed. Next to them, 2 homemade lead masks, an empty water bottle, and a notebook with a message. 1630B at agreed place. 1830 swallow capsules. After effect protect metals wait for mass signal. Instructions. A plan. But what capsules? What signal? Why lead masks? The timeline. 3 days before, they'd traveled from their hometown to Rio. They bought the raincoats they were found in, even though it wasn't raining. A witness saw them acting normally, not distressed. Around 2:30 p.m., they climbed the hill, checking their watches constantly, like they were on schedule. Based on the note, for 30 p.m., they reached the location. 6:30 p.m., they swallowed the capsules. Then they died. The autopsy? Inconclusive. No clear cause of death. The organs that would reveal poisoning were never properly examined. The theories. Lead blocks radiation. They expected exposure to something dangerous. Theory 1. Spiritual ritual. Brazil had a thriving spiritualist movement. They might have taken hallucinogens expecting visions. Overdosed accidentally. But why lead specifically? Theory 2. UFO contact. They believed UFOs emit radiation, wore masks for protection, took capsules thinking it would help them survive alien contact. But no equipment was found. No UFO sightings that night. Theory 3. Secret experiment. As technicians, they had skills. What if they were testing something? A device using radiation or energy. The note sounds clinical, like procedure, but no device was found. And why did authorities mishandle the autopsy? Theory 4. Murder. Someone poisoned them, told them to wear the masks, wrote the note, but nothing was stolen. Their valuables were intact. The mystery. 1930 to 2000 hours. Two men climbed a hill, wore lead masks, followed instructions, swallowed capsules, lay down, died. We know the facts. We don't know what they mean. Spiritual ritual? UFO contact? Secret experiment? Murder? Or something so strange we don't have a framework to understand it. The lead masks exist in evidence storage. The notebook still exists. The hill is still there. But the truth died with the two men who wore those masks and waited for a signal that either never came or came in a way that killed them. What were they protecting themselves from? And did it work, or did it kill them? 5 mysteries. 5 cases with evidence, documentation, but no truth. 9 hikers fleeing something in the night. A plane with 239 people vanished. A signal from space, heard once. 5 children who disappeared in a fire with no remains. 2 men in lead masks, waiting for something. Some might have explanations we haven't found, but some might be genuinely unexplainable, events that challenge what we think we know. The universe is stranger than we imagine, maybe stranger than we can imagine. If you made it this far, you're one of the few. These stories stay with you. They make you question. Subscribe for more mysteries. There are hundreds more waiting. Maybe one day we'll find answers. Thanks for watching. Sleep well if you can.